to change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, you heard it, darling, you look perfect tonight. Tonal music, which would be most Western music, is based on chords and scales. A scale is a sequence of notes that make up a key. Think of this as like your color palette. These are the notes you have to choose from in any given song. A chord is a group of 3 or more notes. In my opinion, the easiest way to figure out the notes of a chord, especially on the piano, is to just play skips. A skip is also known as a third. You skip a letter and you skip a piano key. So, for example, in the C major scale, let's say we're going to figure out a C major chord. You start on C. The first letter is the name of the chord. So you start with C, then you're going to skip D, play E. Skip F, play G. C, E, G. Ta-da! You have a C major chord. Example, to play a D chord that would fit in the key of C major. So it's technically a D minor chord, but we'll worry about that later. In the key of C major, the chord that begins on D would be D, skip E, play F, skip G, play A, D, F, A. And we could continue this process to build a chord on each note of the scale. So here's another visual for you. So remember, a skip skips a letter, usually skips a finger, and skips a piano key. So assuming you had your thumb on C, your pointer finger on D, you would skip that pointer finger. So you'd play thumb, middle on E, and pinky on G. Try playing a 3-note chord, which by the way is called a triad. So start on each note of the scale. So start with C, and then play skips to the right. C, skip a key, skip another key. So you should be 1, 3, 5. Then try starting on D. D, skip, skip. Try that on each note of the scale. Pause the video if you need to, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, so we've covered the very basics of scales and chords. Our next stop on the journey is scale degrees. So we call the notes of a scale scale degrees. And just to review, a scale is a sequence of notes that make up a key. The C major scale, which we're using for our examples, is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The scale degrees are those individual notes. So we number them from lowest to highest. C would be scale degree 1. D is scale degree 2. Hopefully you can count in order. E then would be 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and C could be 8, but technically we would just go back to 1 because it's repeating. The chord built on scale degree 1 would be called the 1 chord or the tonic chord, but instead of labeling it with the number 1, we would use the Roman numeral 1. In case you didn't learn Roman numerals or you don't remember them, here's your quick cheat sheet. So I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, IV is 4, V is 5, VI is 6, and VII is 7. So we use Roman numerals to label our chords, and they correspond with the scale degree that the chord is built on. So like I was saying, the chord built on the first scale degree, built on C in this case, would be labeled with Roman numeral I. The chord built on For example, F is built on scale degree 4, so that would be labeled with Roman numeral 4, IV. Hopefully that's making sense so far. Here's a cheat sheet of the Roman numerals, all the Roman numerals for all the chords in the key, in a major key. So capital letters means it's a major chord, sounds happier. Lowercase letters mean a minor chord, sounds kind of sad. And a asterisk is for a diminished chord, which is like extra dissonant. So you have the major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, and diminished 7th chords. All right, so you could play all of these chords in root position, which is what we already learned, that 1, skip, skip pattern, thumb, middle, pinky. And then you would have to jump from C to G to E to wherever. You'd be all over the place, moving your whole hand. But I think it's much easier to remember these chord shapes. The 1 chord. This is what we've already learned. Root position, 1 chord, 1, 3, 5. Thumb, middle, pinky. Or with your left hand, your pinky would be the lowest, right? Pinky, middle, thumb. Skip, skip. Here's the left hand version, 5, 3, 1 instead of 1, 3, 5. The 4 chord, so built on the 4th scale degree, which in the key of C is F, except we're going to rearrange the notes. So you see F is in the middle here. We're going to rearrange the notes. It's still the same chord. We're just making it less moving around. So you're going to keep your thumb on C, or pinky in your left hand, and you're going to shift that middle up to F, just a half step up, and you're going to shift the pinky up a whole step, so 2 keys, black or white, to get to your 4 chord. So now we have F, A, C. We just kept C on the bottom so we didn't have to move our hand as far. There's the left hand version. So we had 5, 3, 1 for left hand for the 1 chord. Now we're shifting to the second finger on F and moving the thumb up to A, keeping the pinky where it is. Then you have the 5, 7 chord. So imagine we went back to 1. In fact, here we'll go back to that slide for the sake of demonstration. Imagine we went back to 1, C, E, G, 1, 3, 5. Now we're going to keep our pinky there, play our 4th finger, which we haven't used yet, and shift the thumb down 1 half step, 1 key, black or white, in this case to B. So now we have the 5 chord, or 5, 7 chord. 7 just adds a little extra tension, a little extra pull. We've just rearranged the notes to make it less moving. So all you have to move is your thumb to go from the 1 chord to the 5, 7. Here's the left hand version. So instead of shifting your thumb, because your left hand is opposite, you're keeping your thumb and pointer finger in place, shifting your pinky down 1 key. So we've learned the shapes for these 4 primary chords. These are the chords for your 4-chord garage band. The 1 chord. This is the chord based on the first note of the scale. It's your home chord. The 4 chord is based on the 4th note of the scale. It adds some color. It has a little bit of pull, but not as much as the 5, 7 chord, which is based on the 5th note of the scale. So we can play the 5 chord by itself, but often we add a 7th added in. It turns it from a triad into a 4-note chord. The 7th just adds some extra tension, some extra pull. So you may see a 5 chord or a 5, 7 chord. And then we have the minor 6 chord. This is the chord based on the 6th note of the scale. Not used as often as your 3 major chords, but it gives extra flavor and it is still pretty frequently used. Here's another visual to help you see where those chords line up. So you've got in the key of C major, the 1 chord is C, or C major technically. The 4 chord, our 4th scale degree, is F, so our major 4 chord is F major. The 5 chord, built on the 5th note of the scale, G, is G major, GBD, and if we add the 7, it would be GBD F. F is 1/7 away from G. And then our minor 6th chord, built on the 6th scale degree, which is A. So we have A minor. This lowercase m stands for minor, and that would be A, C, E. So we've learned the shapes of the chords. We've learned how they're labeled with Roman numerals. What difference does it make? We're going to use a method to turn chord symbols, the names of chords, into numerals, which allows you to play any song in any key in the key that you want to play. So first you have to figure out the key. Many chord sheets tell you what key it's in, but based on what chord the verse or chorus or the whole song ends on, you can usually make an educated guess if it doesn't say what key it's in. From there, write down the scale degrees. So if we're in the key of A, the scale degrees are going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, with some sharps and flats probably, unless it's A minor. Then you match the numerals with the scale degrees, which therefore tells you the matching chord names for each numeral. So in the key of A, the first scale degree is A, which means the A chord is your 1 chord. The 5th scale degree in A is E, which means the E chord is your 5 chord, and so on. Then you fill in the numerals on your chord sheet. So that's a lot of talking. Let's actually do it. We're going to take a snippet of a popular song. We'll fill in the numerals one by one. So this song is in the key of E major. Don't Stop Believin', by the way, if you couldn't tell. So E is our first scale degree, then F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. That's kind of our cipher for breaking down the code of E major. So we have our 4 primary chords in E major. Based on the scale degrees, the 1 chord is E, because E is the first scale degree. The 4 chord is going to be A, because it's built on the 4th scale degree. The 5 chord, built on the 5th scale degree, is B, and the minor 6 chord, built on the 6th scale degree, is C sharp minor. So we'll start with the first chord in the song, which is A, and since A is the 4 chord, we'll write Roman numeral 4 next to each A in the excerpt. Then we'll do E next, which is the 1 chord built on the 1st scale degree. So we'll write Roman numeral I for 1 next to each E. Last for this snippet, we have the B, the 5 chord. So we'll fill in Roman numeral 5 for each B. And we don't have any C sharp minor chords, so we're done. Even though you might not know how to play E, A, B, or C sharp minor, now you can play this chorus in the key of C using the chord shapes that we've already learned. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going
lost.